Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jasodhanandana Vraja Janarandana. Jasodhanandana Vraja Janarandana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yasodhanandana Vraja Janarandana. Yasodhanandana Vraja Janarandana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Vishubhat Paramamsa Vajrakacharya Ashtatala Sata Sri Srimad Ismangres Esi Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jaya Vishubhat Paramamsa Vajrakacharya Ashtatala Sata Sri Srimad Ismangres Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sikho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kundgiri Govardhan Ki Jai. वृंदावन धाम की जय, मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय, गंगा माई की जय, यमुना माई की जय, श्रीमती तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन की जय, श्री श्री गौनीताई की जय, श्री श्री जगन्नाथ सुभद्रा बलदेव की जय, गौर प्रेमानंद जी, all glories to the Samalivatis, all glories to the Samalivatis, all glories to the Samalivatis, all glories to Sri Guru Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pastabhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pastyata Vedatarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Vadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Skanda, 9th chapter. Dhruva Maharaj returns home, sloka number 40. No, 30. Dhruva Vacha Samadhina Na Eka Bhavena Yat Padam Viduhu Sananda Adayaha Urdvaretasaha Masahi Aham Shadvihi Amushya Padayoho Chayam Upetya Apagataha Pritakmatihi. Dhruvavacha Samadhina Naika Bhavena Yatpadam Vidusananda Daya Urdvaretasaha Masairaham Shadviramushya Padayoho Chayam Upetya Pagata Pritagmatihi. Dhruvavacha Samadhina Naika Bhavena Yatpadam Vidusananda Daya Urdvaretasaha Masairaham Shadviramushya Padayoho Chayamupeya Pagata Pritagmatihi. Sri Sri Gauritai ki jai, Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai, Sri Sri Jagannath Subhadra Baladev ki jai. Dhruva Vacha Samadhinam Samadhina Naika Bhavena Yatpadam Vidusamandadaya Urdvaretasaha Masairaham Shadviramushya Padayoho Chayamupetya Pagata Pitagmatihi. Vaishnavis. Dhruva Uvacha. Dhruva Maharaj said, Samadhina, by practicing yoga in trance, na, never, eka bhavena, by one birth, yet, which, padam, position, viduhu, understood, sananda adayaha, the four brahmacharis, headed by Sanandana, urdhvaretasaha, infallible celibates, masahi, within months, aham, I, shadbihi, 6, amushya, of him, padayoho, of the lotus feet, chayam, shelter, upetya, achieving, apagataha, fell down, pritakmatihi, my mind fixed on things other than the Lord. Translation. Dhruva Maharaj thought to himself, to endeavor to be situated in the shade of the lotus feet of the Lord is not an ordinary task, because even the great brahmacharis, headed by Sanandana, who practiced Ashtanga Yoga in trance, attained the shelter of the Lord's lotus feet only after many, many births. Within 6 months, I achieved the same result. Yet, due to my thinking differently from the Lord, I fell down from my position. Please repeat. Dhruva Maharaj thought to himself, to endeavor to be situated in the shade of the lotus feet of the Lord is not an ordinary task, because even the great brahmacharis, headed by Sanandana, who practice Ashtanga Yoga in trance, attain the shelter of the Lord's lotus feet only after many, many births. Within 6 months, I achieved the same result. Yet, due to my thinking differently from the Lord, I fell down from my position. purport by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, Dhruva Maharaj himself explains the cause of his moroseness. First, he laments that to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly is not easy. Even great saintly persons like the four celebrated brahmacharis, headed by Sanandana, Sanaka, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumar, practiced the yoga system for many, many births and remained in trance before getting the opportunity to see the Supreme Lord face to face. As far as Dhruva Maharaj was concerned, he saw the Supreme Lord personally after only 6 months of practice in devotional service. He expected, therefore, that as soon as he met the Supreme Lord, the Lord would take him to his abode immediately, without waiting. Dhruva Maharaj could understand very clearly that the Lord had offered him the rule of the world for 36,000 years, because in the beginning he was under the spell of the material energy and wanted to take revenge against his stepmother and rule over his father's kingdom. Dhruva Maharaj greatly lamented his propensity for ruling the material world and his revengeful attitude towards other living entities. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vidantam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakam Vitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesya Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneswari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Padamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Dhruva Maharaj is going back to his father's place, Uttanapad's palace, after having received the darshan of Lord Narayana, and after offering prayers to Narayana, being blessed by the Supreme Lord with a touch of his conch shell, that is Narayana's conch shell, Dhruva Maharaj was able to offer very beautiful prayers that was very pleasing to Lord Narayana. So in this surrendered attitude, Lord Vishnu or Narayana blessed Dhruva Maharaj with a long life in which he would be able to rule his father's kingdom for 36,000 years without any diminution in his body or mind. So he would be able in this way to accomplish what he wanted. He had been dismissed from his father's kingdom, and now he was going to be re-established by Lord Vishnu. So in this way his desire was fulfilled. And after the end of his rule for 36,000 of years, he would be promoted to pole star, Dhruvaloka, which is actually a spiritual planet within this material universe, because it is never annihilated at any time. And it is a place where the Lord of Sutadvip, Kshirodakshayi Vishnu, resides. So this is the personal residence of the Supreme Lord. In this way, Dhruva Maharaj would have the opportunity to become liberated in Vaikuntha Loka, in Dhruva Loka. And his fame would be established for time eternal. In spite of all these benedictions, and in spite of taking darshan of the Lord after a short time, in spite of the circumstances, he got so much blessing from the Supreme Lord that nobody else earlier had received. So he should have been very happy that I've received the blessings from the Supreme Lord, and nobody else has received such blessings. And the Supreme Lord is giving me my Father's kingdom, and then the Dhruva Loka, the spiritual world. So he should be very happy about this. But he is not fully happy. He only half happy, and half he is keeping some, as Prabhupada translates, moroseness. Moroseness means that negative feeling or a sense of despondency, because he remembers that he had this material desire. When one approaches the Lord, one should not have any material desire. Because if the Lord is going to fulfill this desire, this may go against our own spiritual welfare. But the Lord is very kind. He fulfills all types of desires, material as well as spiritual. In this case, Dhruva Maharaj was given the opportunity to take revenge against his stepmother and rule the kingdom for a very long time. So that was a fulfillment of his material desire. But at the same time, Lord Narayana accepted him in his own planet. So that is the spiritual desire in this way being fulfilled. So all the desire that Dhruva Maharaj may have had were fulfilled by the Supreme Lord. But Dhruva Maharaj is thinking that this material desire was not correct. Now he understands that after getting the darshan of the Lord and being promoted to the spiritual platform, to the platform of Krishna consciousness, he should not have developed that material desire. In this way, he is regretting that I had this material desire, and because of that, the Supreme Lord is also granting the fulfillment of that desire. Now, I don't have any such desire. Even then, I've now taken this blessing of ruling the kingdom of my father for such a long time. In this way, he is somewhat regretting his previous life. So this is actually not a defect in Dhruva Maharaj. Dhruva Maharaj has been now called the Paramahamsa, a pure devotee of the Lord. No doubt, at the beginning of his sadhana, even while meeting Narada Muni and starting his tapasya on the bank of the Yamuna in Mathura, he was not on the stage of perfection. The stage of perfection was reached only after he had darshan of the Supreme Lord and getting all these benedictions in this way. But he remembers that, I had these material desires, and he is regretting. So that is the attitude of a pure devotee who never thinks that now I have achieved perfection, everything is perfect, I'm fully happy, and the Lord is very pleased with me, so there is no problem for my future, and so on. This attitude of Dhruva Maharaj is quite congenial for a pure devotee who is always humble and meek. Humility, meekness means to consider oneself to be the most fallen in all circumstances, whatever may be the situation, either at the beginning of sadhana or even at the fulfillment at the end of sadhana. One should not become proud. Now I've seen the Lord, so I am perfect. No. Dhruva Maharaj is not thinking that he has achieved perfection. So that is a very good attitude from his part, which we can take as an example for ourselves in our sadhana, that never think that we have reached any type of perfection, but always thinking that we are actually on the lowest platform. In this way, we can improve our consciousness. Otherwise, if we become proud, then that is an obstacle. And there are descriptions of the state of humility given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Sikshastakam. Tunadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina mana dena kirtaniya sadahari. If somebody is constantly chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that means he is such an exalted personality. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prayer is Tunadapi sunichena. One should chant constantly the holy name of the Lord in a state of complete humility, thinking oneself to be lower than a blade of grass. Not that I'm chanting Hare Krishna, I'm just next to Krishna, he is my friend, and so on, like that. No. Tunadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna. This makes me remember that Obiel Kapoor was a very great friend of Srila Prabhupada in Vrindavan, a disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. And before Srila Prabhupada went to the West, he had a lot of association with Obiel Kapoor. So Obiel Kapoor told him that when you come back from America, I'll meet you again, then we'll have a nice talk. So when Srila Prabhupada came back, I think that was in 1971, at that time, he met again Obiel Kapoor. And Obiel Kapoor asked him, so I can understand, your mission has been very successful. What is the secret? How did you manage to be successful in your mission? Please tell me what is your secret. And Srila Prabhupada told him, Tunadapi sunichena tarorapi sahish. Amanina mana dena kirtaniya sadahari. Chanting Hare Krishna in a very humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street, more tolerant than the tree. So that was the secret of Srila Prabhupada's successful mission, and that was very important to understand. Why Srila Prabhupada was successful? Why not his god brothers who had gone earlier to England and Germany? They were very highly qualified disciples. But despite all their knowledge and experience in Krishna consciousness, experience in preaching, but they could not be successful. Srila Prabhupada made a difference. So the difference was that Trinadapi Sunichena, like that. Humility, chanting Hare Krishna in a humble state of mind, that is the best preaching by which, if we want to be successful in preaching, this is the example we have to follow. Uh, there are many other examples of humility. In the surrender has 6 Saranagati, 6 different departments, and Dhanya, humility, is a very important item, Dhanya. Otherwise, even if other limbs of Saranagati are followed, but if there is no Dhanya, then there cannot be progress in spiritual life. So that's the most essential. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he has elaborated on this aspect of humility in some of his songs of Saranagati. In one song called Amara Jivan, he describes that what is the fate of, he identifies himself with the ordinary conditioned soul. And how did he spend his life? He is now old, but how the whole life went on, how did he spend his life? About half, 50% of life spent in sleeping. Then the baby at the young age, not doing anything, not without any meaning, a baby, and a young child going to school and learning all material knowledge. Then as an adolescent, and I'm being enamored by the opposite gender and running after them. Then family life, bringing out children and all that, and trying to fulfill the necessities of family life by earning money and so on. Now after then reaching old age, body becomes weakened. Physical body, the mind, memory becomes weak, and we are not able to actually take up the process of Krishna consciousness because of our weakened nature. We could have done it earlier. This is the regret. So in this song, Amara Jivan, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is describing, now I've reached an old age, what shall I do now? I have wasted my life by not following the principles of Krishna consciousness from the beginning, as advised by Prahlad Maharaj. This is the condition. So even though Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a pure devotee of the Lord, direct associate of Lord Gauranga, who had come to this world to re-establish the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he is giving us such an example of humility, which is absolutely genuine. Or there can be false humility also, making a show of being humble. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur was genuinely humble. An example of this, when he was a magistrate in Puri, Jagannath Puri, he had a big house as a magistrate and many servants. Daily in the morning, he used to pay obeisances to his servants. Why? Because he is thinking, they are Purivasis. I'm not a Purivasi. I came from outside just for some time doing something here. But they are Purivasis, so they are superior. They are not my servants. I am their servant. That was his consciousness. So, and that is not for a show. Whatever Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wrote autobiography. Likisha? Swalikija. Yes, Swalikija. His own autobiography. That autobiography, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj told us not to read it. I don't know if it has been published. I'm not sure. I was trying to find a copy of that. But for many, many years, it was not available, and I don't know if it is available now, I'm not sure. Part of it may be available. But why we are not supposed to read that autobiography from such a great saintly person, a great acharya in our sampradaya? He has written his own life. Why should we not read that autobiography? Because in that book, how he has written his own life, that he has described himself the most fallen. He has not made a show of great learning. No, he has studied under the Britishers, and he became very great Pandit, and he was given a very high post in the government and so on. He is not describing this. On the contrary, he is describing himself as the most fallen. Most fallen in the sense that he is telling that he was not at all a devotee of the Lord for so many years. Practically, only after many, many years, he started to develop interest because of some association with some devotees. He started to understand the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But otherwise, for many, many years in his life, he was not at all a devotee. He is writing like this. So how can we understand? If we read this, then we shall have the wrong idea. This Bhaktivinoda Thakur is just, he was not born a devotee. He was not a devotee for most of his life and so on, which is absolutely wrong. We'll develop the wrong idea of an acharya of that stature. So therefore, we are not supposed to read this. He is writing that I was actually impersonalist. I was attracted by this Brahmo Samaj or by this Theosophical Society and so on. So many groups were there at that time in Bengal. And they were propagating their own philosophy. And teachings of Lord Chaitanya was practically hidden from the general public. The successors of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, such as the 6 Goswamis, they had disappeared from this world for hundreds of years. And then after that, Narottamananda and Shyamananda Pandit and other devotees also propagated the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Bengal, Orissa, and going up to Manipur, like that. But after that, then there was a gap. Then Baladev Vidyabhushan and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, they also presented the philosophy of Lord Chaitanya, just as the 6 Goswamis had done. So up to that point, the teachings of Lord Chaitanya were kept alive. But gradually, after the disappearance of this generation, then some type of a new population of so-called followers of Lord Chaitanya, who were actually not following the real teachings. They were chanting the holy names of the Lord, but not in the proper mood. Not in the mood of Trinadapi, Sunishena, Tarorapi, indulging in all types of sinful activities, including smoking, drinking, associating with women and all that. So that was their so-called spiritual life. They were not making any difference between fulfilling material desires and spiritual desires. For them, material life, spiritual life is one. No difference. That was that type of devotion they were propagating. In this way, the teachings of Lord Chaitanya have been completely, practically covered, hidden. in such a few years. The Chaitanya Charitamrita was not available. He could not, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was looking for a manuscript. He had to look for many years before finding a genuine manuscript of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So in this way, the life of Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually was very extraordinary. He was a pioneer in the sense that he revived the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at a time when, because of the British occupation and other conditions, the teachings have been practically lost. Even the appearance place of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had been lost, and some self-interested people, they were just doing business out of the advertising the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. Actually, that was not the real birthplace. It was on the opposite side of the Ganga. So, by good fortune and by the blessings of the Supreme Lord and some genuine devotee, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, with the Jagannath Das Babaji, he rediscovered the birthplace or the appearance place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this way, a temple was built there, and in this way, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was such a visionary that he predicted that in the future, people from all over the world, they would come and chant the holy names, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. They would all come, assemble in Mayapur, chant the holy names of the Lord. This was an extraordinary prediction on the part of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But otherwise, during his lifetime, the things were completely opposite. And he had to overcome all these obstacles because of a humble attitude, never being proud. So in this way, here Dhruva Maharaj is lamenting. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says that lamentation is not the mark of a self-realized person. If Dhruva Maharaj is actually self-realized at this stage, after getting blessings of Lord Narayana, how is lamenting? Lord Krishna says, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Na Sochati Na Kamshati Samas Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Navade Param. So Na Sochati should not lament. Here Dhruva Maharaj is, apparently, he is lamenting. So, how do we reconcile? The Vedanta Chaitanya Prabhu made a very good comment on this topic. What is correct lamentation and what is wrong lamentation? Correct lamentation is spiritual lamentation for the sake of advancing in spiritual life. One should lament over his own fate. I am such a sinful person, and I'm good for nothing. Only by the blessing of my Guru Maharaj and blessings of Radha Krishna, I'm able to do a little bit. Otherwise, I have no capacity whatsoever. That is one type of lamentation which is favorable for Krishna consciousness. The other type of lamentation is material lamentation. Oh, if I had graduated from that school, now I would become a very big businessman. I would have earned a lot of money in my life. I would have a very good family life and so on. So that type of lamentation, that is material and useless, not favorable for spiritual advancement. So lamentation can be of different types. Just like Tamagun, Rajagun, Sattvagun. These three gunas, they influence all our activities and state of mind. So there can be lamentation in tamas, or in rajas, or in sattva. But the best is lamentation in the state of Krishna, pure Krishna consciousness. And that is the case here. Dhruva Maharaj, otherwise, how can he be considered a Paramahamsa by the commentators? So we should develop the right attitude of lamenting for the sake of advancement in Krishna consciousness. In this way, it will be very pleasing, and we can be effective preacher. Any other questions or comments? Hare Krishna. No questions? Okay. Srimad Bhagavatham. Huh? It is not identified with the material world. This planet of Setadvip, or the planet of Kshirodakshay Vishnu, that became Dhruvaloka, is not part. In one sense, geographically, it is situated at the top of the material universe, but it is not of the same constitution, not of the same nature. It is purely spiritual. It is not created at any time, and it is not destroyed at any time. It is only situated in the material world. So when all the material universe are destroyed, this planet of Dhruvaloka is not destroyed. It remains as it is. That, of course, not destroyed. You mean Vrindavan here, Uttar Pradesh? Uttar Pradesh. That is, of course, destroyed in a material sense, that it disappears from our sight. But at the time of creation, again, it is made again appearance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have one little. Prabhuji, all the great devotees tell that the shloka Trinadapi Sonichena. All the great devotees tell that the shloka Trinadapi Sunichena. It's a very important verse, and they say to make a garland of this verse and put it around the neck while you're chanting the holy names. Yeah.
If you have a locket, you can write that sloka, keep it on your neck.
Yeah. They said that make a garland around of this verse on your neck. Something like that.
Yes.
Why is this shloka so important, Prabhuji?
All right. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
I was asking
Why it is so important?
that they tell us that to chant we have to.
Because actually it is our position. We are just like a speck of dust. The Supreme Lord is infinite. We are infinitesimal. In front of the Lord, we are just like almost nothing. Just a very small speck of the 1/10,000 of the tip of a hair. You can calculate how small we are. Every one of us. Not only devotees, non-devotees, or everyone. This measurement is given in the Upanishads. So even from the physical aspect, from the aspect of material calculation, we are very, very small. So small, we cannot even see ourselves. Even with my microscope also, we will not be able to see ourselves. So small we are. So how we are thinking we are so big? That is false ego. The real ego is that we are very small. And when we try to surrender to the Lord, we have to be humble. Otherwise, there is no question of surrender. So that is very essential element in a spiritual life. But it is very difficult to follow and to apply in our own lives, because at every moment, under the spell of Maya, we are always thinking, no, we can do this, we can do that. So in the Sri Sampradaya, you have two different views on that aspect. One aspect is the monkey, the other one is the cat. So the monkey is grabbing his mother tightly with his hand and so on. The baby monkey showing his strength. And the other example given is the cat. The cat is taken in the mouth of the mother cat. The small baby cat doesn't do anything. He's under the complete protection of the mother. He cannot do anything. He cannot walk. He cannot grab his mother. So these are the two things which have a philosophical distinction in the Sri Sampradaya. So you have the Tengalai and the Vadagalai. Tengalai, they follow the cat philosophy or the cat way of life. And the Vadagalai, they follow the monkey way of life. But, then you can ask, so what is the position of the Gaudiya Sampradaya? Are we the cat or are we the monkey? I think that both aspects have to be understood. That suppose if we are only a cat and doing nothing, simply lying on the floor, waiting for the mother to pick us up and going here and there. But we have to be engaged in devotional service. We have to be active. Krishnanushilanam. We have to be favorably active in order to please the Supreme Lord. So that monkey life is also, we have to take also example that we should not simply be like a cat, but also we have to follow the monkey who is also active in his life. So we have to be very humble in our attitude, at the same time be active in our devotional service. So that is what I can understand, and how Prabhupada exemplified this and all the acharyas. I was talking about Bhaktivinoda Thakur. From him also these two aspects are there. Complete humility and complete enthusiasm to render service to the Lord. Hare Krishna. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, there is one lecture by Gaur Govind Swami on this shloka Trinadapi, naming make a garland of this verse. So I was listening to it. It was very nice. I wanted to share it for the benefit of
Yeah, very good. Yeah. Garland or locket? Locket, I think, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that word is mentioned. But garland is very good. You can keep it always. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.